Shock the system. Bulletcast for life.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the instant analysis for WWE Fastlane 2019. You know the name, you know the voice, you know why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I'm the Podfather. I'm a 23-year-old piece of gold. I'm the current reigning defending Bulletcast champion. Just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. That title reign is hashtag forever undisputed. For life, brother. Alright, WWE Fastlane. It was a cool show, man. I'm going to get into my final show grade at the end of the podcast, but let's just jump right into it. I'm not going to cover the kickoff. I'm just going to hop right into the main card. So, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, the Usos defend and successfully retain against The Miz and Shane McMahon via pinfall. So Shane McMahon's road to WrestleMania 35 begins. McMahon's brilliant post-match heel turn set up perfectly by The Miz getting a hero's welcome in his hometown while wearing a Cleveland is awesome shirt in the Browns colors. While the match was a good one, it was what took place after that raised things to a whole new level. Egged on by the crowd and his father, George Mizanin, sitting in the front row, Miz attempted an ill-advised frog splash that caught Jimmy Uso's knees into a roll-up finish. The Usos defend their titles after The Miz helped McMahon out of the ring. Both members embraced Mizanin outside. Mr. Mizanin, that is. McMahon took The Miz out with a clothesline from behind. He proceeded to beat Miz down while taunting Mizanin before clocking Miz out on the floor. McMahon added insult to injury by grabbing Mizanin by the mouth and pushing him and uttering, "That's your son." All in all, that was great work by McMahon, who earlier in the match produced big spots when he intercepted Jimmy Uso's top rope splash by drop kicking him from the opposite turnbuckle and doing the coast to coast thing. Yeah, man. Gave it a B plus. There was nothing really much more to it. Great work by Shane. Shane hasn't been a heel in a very long time, so I'm interested to see what heel Shane McMahon has to offer. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. So Asuka successfully retains against God's greatest gift, Mandy Rose. I'm a little sad about this one. After causing calculated distractions earlier on, Sonya Deville went on to accidentally cost Rose in the short and uneventful match. Deville pulled the ring skirt onto the apron in order to grab a kendo stick from underneath. Seconds later, Asuka reversed Rose into the ropes, which caused her to stumble. Asuka followed with a stiff kick to the chin. Like, Jesus, that may have gotten the match grade even higher. For the 1-2-3 to defend her title successfully. Rose shook off multiple attempts by Deville to apologize after as the two walked up the ramp. I give it a C. Nothing. It wasn't the best match, you know. I'm just glad Mandy got a shot, you know. Her in-ring work will get better. I think she's somebody put on Twitter R.I.P. you know, wrestling gifs, but they put that R.I.P. Mandy. That was interesting. I think her in-ring work will get better. I think she's ahead of where Eva Marie was when she was a professional wrestler. God, I miss Eva Marie. That red and gold thing should have happened with Mandy and Eva. That would have been great. Would have been something special. Maybe they could have been the first ever, big air quotes on that, women's tag team champions in WWE. Those titles were defended too. We're going to talk about that later on. Alright, so, the bar. We don't just set the bar, we are the bar. They go on to defeat Kofi Kingston in a 1-on-2 handicap match. Earlier on, the New Day enter Vince's office and they say Kofi should be in the match for the WWE title tonight. It should be a triple threat. Vince agreed it should be a triple threat, and then he sends Kofi out there with the New Day barred from ringside. Alright, so here we go. The last-minute nature of Kingston getting screwed by McMahon produced an unexpected level of boos fairly through the 2-on-1 beating. Things escalated into a "this is boring" chant from the crowd. Kingston's brief rally was easily snuffed out as the bar began to tease the crowd by not going for a pinfall. Finally, the remaining New Day members came running out, only to be attacked from behind by Rusev and Nakamura. Cesaro and Sheamus teamed up for a double white noise to finish Kingston, adding insult to injury by standing on him during the count. The good news for Kingston's fans is that this likely means big plans ahead for WrestleMania. So I gave that a B. Gave that a B minus. Asuka match. If I didn't say it, I gave it a C. So I really want Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship WrestleMania. It has to happen, man. Like give us a moment. Give us a moment. Like, but that's the thing, Seth walking out champ, Becky and Kofi. All those moments can't happen. Somebody's gonna have to get knocked off. Seth can get knocked off. He can afford not to win the Universal title. Let Brock just keep running with it, since it's never there in the first place. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Raw Tag Team Championships. Let's talk about those. So, the Revival, they're the defending champions. They retain against Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, and the newly formed team of Aleister Black and Ricochet, the NXT call-ups. Credit to the booking here from WWE, making sure its pair of NXT stars were able to be presented as stars without needing to win the titles and take the pinfall directly. WWE even took it one step further after the match by allowing Ricochet and Black to stand tall after taking out the other two teams, followed by Ricochet landing a 630 senton on a Dash Wilder, one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions. The ending to this beautiful disaster was frantic and spectacular. Ricochet stood out brighter than the rest thanks to his insane aerial ability. Not only did he take out all four of his competitors by hitting a Hurricanrana on Scott Dawson off the top rope onto the floor, Ricochet followed it up by clearing the ring post with an insane splash onto Roode outside. The Revival caught Gable with a Shatter Machine shortly after for the 1-2-3. I give that a B+. It was a good match. It was fun. It was exciting. I'm so glad the Revival kept their championships. I was scared. I really, really was. I was scared. Like, oh my God, what the... They can't just win them and lose them, Another title that I thought was going to be won and lost very quickly, but it didn't happen, and honest to God, this probably was the second best match on the show. So Samoa Joe this past Tuesday won the United States Championship by defeating R-Truth former champion Andrade Cien Almas and Rey Mysterio Jr. in a fatal four-way. The match happened again. It happened again tonight, so let's get into it. Joe defeats Mysterio, Andrade, Almas, and Truth to retain his title. As far as car crash spot fest are concerned, this one was fantastic. There wasn't a whole lot of storyline holding this one together, but the insane work rate and succession of exciting moves was never ending. At 44, Rey Mysterio continued to impress with a handful of creative Hurricanranas and maneuvers. Multiple pin attempts, late summoned last-second dives from multiple competitors to keep the match alive. Even R-Truth had a fun sequence mimicking the move set of his idol, quote-unquote idol, John Cena, even though Truth is like 6 years older than him. The finish came after Mysterio hit a 619 on Joe before missing a springboard splash. Joe grabbed the fallen Mysterio, applying the Coquina Clutch to quickly choke out Rey Mysterio, A-. That match was effing awesome. It was fantastic, man. I loved that. I was like, oh my God, ha ha ha. It was great. I worked earlier today. I was dozing off a little bit, but I just heard the crowd and I heard the commentary. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta stay awake. I gotta watch this. I'm so proud of Samoa Joe, man. I think he did a promo after, which was excellent. Joe is so good on the mic. He's so good in the ring for a man his size. His selling's great. His psychology is great, and he likes to have fun in there, and that's awesome. And Joe, he's a natural-born killer. I'm so happy he's gold on the main roster. Hopefully we get Joe versus Big Match John at WrestleMania, and let Joe go over and walk out MetLife Stadium with the championship of the United States. Now, moving on to another championship, the Tag Team Championships of the women's division. So, the Boston Hug connection of Sasha Banks and Bayley successfully retain their titles against Nia Jax and Tamina. Sasha Banks successfully retained a title on the main roster. We should be jumping for joy, popping bottles, all that good stuff. Where's the confetti cannon? Let me see it. Alright, so Banks and Bayley won the match, but it was Jax and Tamina who started a whole new war. The first title defense of the women's championships and the first for Banks on the main roster. successfully was largely overshadowed by the post-match activities which followed. Bayley's reversal into a roll-up 3 count on Jax. The pair of heels brutally attacked the champions immediately after before Tamina hit Bayley with a super kick on the floor and Jax tossed Banks over the announcer's table. WWE Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon, who was sitting in on commentary, got up out of her chair and was approached by Tamina. Two-way trash talk ensued until Phoenix punched Tamina in the face. Jax attacked her from behind. A 2-on-1 beating in the center of the ring followed, which summoned the run-in from Phoenix's former tag team partner, Natalya. Jax and Tamina fought them off and stood tall after it. A handful of referees to break things up. While the title match was brief and unoffensive, the melee was fairly intense and well handled, even if it took the shine away from their champions. I gave it a B-. Thought it was fine, thought it was cool. But if we get Beth Phoenix back in the ring, I'm going to be excited for that, She Hall of Famer, we've had numerous conversations on this podcast about Hall of Famers and who's worthy, She earned it, Hall of Fame, it's about memorable characters and a lot of what you do in the ring, and she was a great wrestler in an era where women's wrestling was not looked at as being great. We were really past the bikini contests and fulfill your fantasy matches and pillow fights, but they were getting 3-minute matches. They were getting 3 minutes total on Raw with entrances, so that she was great for her time, and if we get her back in the ring, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the WWE Championship, it is the most prestigious prize in this industry. The new Daniel Bryan retains his eco-friendly WWE Hemp Championship by defeating Kevin Owens, and Vince said it was going to be a triple threat, and he also defeats Mustafa Ali. So it was announced that the WWE title would indeed be defending a triple threat match, and Ali entered the ring last to the dismay of fans, still hoping for Kingston. The Cleveland crowd may not have seen their We Want Kofi chance come to fruition in this one, but Ali's late addition helped it play out spectacularly just the same. This had all the high-flying spots and dramatic saves one could imagine for a heavyweight championship bout. But it was also had 3 superstars seemingly raising their game time and time again as the match evolved. Ali showed the full package with everything from a top rope Spanish fly to a 450 onto the apron and to a credible tornado DDT off the top rope onto the floor. Rowan played a key role in helping Bryan retain his championship by breaking up numerous pinfall attempts and taking a few key bumps along the way. Rowan's biggest move, however, was taking out Owens late with a spinning heel kick. Bryan, who was at his heel best, slapping Ali while audibly telling him he doesn't deserve to be here, finished him off with a running knee that caught Ali in midair as he attempted to do a crossbody splash. Bryan escaped with the win and his title, and set the stage for what could be an epic title feud, most certainly involving Kofi Kingston entering WrestleMania 35 in MetLife Stadium. That got an A. That got an A! Got an A like Steve Urkel on a science test. Did I do that? I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to be new with these pop culture references. Alright, speaking of a person who is popular in pop culture, let's talk about Ronda Rousey. So, there was a match to determine who she would really be going against for the Raw Women's title in about, it was like 28 days. I think that's how long WrestleMania is from now. So Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte Flair via disqualification and earns a Raw Women's title shot at WrestleMania 35. Despite a knee injury that Flair targeted, throughout a largely one-side match, Lynch secured her spot in the triple threat bout at WrestleMania thanks to Ronda Rousey. The women's champion, dressed in all black after her recent heel turn, ran in after Flair applied the figure 8 leg lock. After a brief pause, she leaned down and punched Becky Lynch in the face to purposely force the DQ ending. The relatively brief match was void of big moments and spots in a way that was smartly booked to keep expectations high for April 7th. In fact, WWE's decision to allow Rousey to exit without an attack from Flair felt refreshing in that regard. The result may have been badly telegraphed, but the rest is still what's best for business. After a few missteps along the way, including McMahon's insertion and subsequent disappearance from the storyline altogether, it's time for the women to rightfully close the show on the biggest night in wrestling history. So, we shall see. We shall see. I gave it a C+. It was fine. Yeah, let's see the women do it on the biggest show that this business has to offer. Let's see it happen. Oh yeah, Elias played a song. He got RKO'd. AJ Styles hit Randy Orton with a phenomenal forearm. Moving on from that. Ladies and gentlemen, it was the last ride ever for the Hounds of Justice. The Architect Seth Rollins, the Lunatic Fringe Dean Ambrose, and the Big Dog Roman Reigns return, and they secure their yard as they defeat former Constable Corbin, the Scottish Terminator Drew McIntyre, and the almighty Bobby Lashley via pinfall. So, should this really serve as the last hurrah for Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose as a legendary trio? The Shield went out with a bang in Reigns' first match since announcing on February 25th that his leukemia entered remission. It was Ambrose's uncertain future and debate as to whether the whole thing is a mere work that created such need for the Shield to reunite the band. WWE certainly allowed them to play the hits in the main event showcase, which featured a heavy amount of brawling outside of the ring. Chaos quickly became the norm after the structure of the six-man tag match became unraveled. Little happened at the standpoint of the escalating. Little happened for the standpoint of escalating a story. Although there were plenty of big spots after Ambrose running diving off of the kickoff announce table, he was caught by McIntyre and Lashley. Rollins leaped from the crowd high above to splash down onto all three. After a handful of near falls and extended the match's length without teasing that any outcome short of a babyface victory would be in store, the Shield ultimately delivered their triple powerbomb onto McIntyre through an announce table after all three of them yelled one more time, and even Seth Rollins said one more time, Cleveland, one more motherfucking time. The Shield, they come together. Rollins super kicks Corbin. Roman Superman punches Corbin. Dirty deeds from Dean to Corbin. Roman does the ooh wall. They hit a triple power bomb on Baron Corbin. 1, 2, 3. Roman gets the victory. And ladies and gentlemen, if that is truly the last hurrah for the Hounds of Justice, I mean, like the real last hurrah, none of this once in a lifetime we get it the next year. None of this end of an era, then 7-something plus years we get it in Australia. No, I'm serious. If this is truly the last time for Rollins, Ambrose, and Reigns, I want to thank those gentlemen very much. The Shield, one of the high points of my fandom. I remember November Survivor Series 2012 like it was yesterday. Ryback, CM Punk defending the WWE title with John Cena in that match as well. And these three guys with turtlenecks come out and just start beating the hell out of these guys. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then the run those guys had, I mean, it was awesome. The tag title win, the U.S. Championship win for Ambrose, the amazing six-man tags, Team Hell No and Ryback, the Wyatts, I think the Usos and Christian had a six-man tag with those guys, and then June 2nd, 2014, that was a week before I graduated high school. I remember Seth Rollins stabbing his brothers in the back with that chair. I mean, what a run these guys have had over the last, 4, 5, 6 years. I want to thank those guys so much if it's truly the last stand. If Dean Ambrose really is leaving, Dean, I want to thank you so much. You've entertained me. I was there for the Hell in the Cell match you had with Seth Rollins. It was awesome. It was something truly, truly special. Roman, I've seen you live. I love the reaction is going to be different now, but when you were getting the reaction that you used to get being in the arena, I wouldn't react. I would just listen, and it was something different and unique, but special every time. Just polarizing. And Seth, he's in my top 10 wrestlers. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I think Seth is my number 10 favorite wrestler of all time. He's in there. He's in the conversation. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Bulletcast coming to you this Wednesday. Brandon and I continuing Mania Madness. We may have a third person in the chair. We don't know yet. Final show grade, I gave it a B. It was awesome. It was fun. 28 days away from the biggest show in this business. I'm excited. I can't wait. I got to find out what I'm doing for WrestleMania. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Enjoy the Shield's music. The Hounds of Justice have had their last ride. One last time. The band won't get back together anymore.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.